like me? When Christmas comes around, do you like to watch a cheerful holiday film, but you always feel like none of these speak to me? I'm not a princess who has been switched. I'm not a romance author looking for a castle for Christmas. I'm not the manager of a crazy old savings and loan. I'm a gamer, and I need a Christmas movie for me. A gamer. What do I do?
Whoa, what?
And then Warner Brothers to the rescue with the new instant Christmas classic, 8-Bit Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Insert Christmas music here. Bing, ding, bong, along,
I feel like this movie, it bills itself as a gamer holiday movie, but you could take the thing that makes it a gamer movie and insert any other toy, and it's still the same movie.
Yep.
I don't know, but then you don't get to have that great power glove bit.
Oh my god, okay, we will get to it, but the kick at the TV, like, I laughed out loud.
Yeah, this, well, you know what? Why ramble and preamble when we can just get into it? Patrons, here it is, our spoilerific breakdown of 8-Bit Christmas. If you haven't seen it, it's on HBO Max. If you want to go watch it before you hear us talk about it, I can't stop you.
Mm-hmm.
But,
John will insert the trailer audio right here so the listeners can hear the trailer.
I'm Neil Patrick Harris, and I've got a daughter.
Do you like Nintendo? Because I sure do.
When I was a kid, I was biking with a hat on, a green helmet, and then I got a Nintendo, and then I didn't get a really Nintendo.
Hot.
Yeah, my mom was really hot for some reason. Like
my mom's married to Paul Scheer.
All right. 8-Bit Christmas. This movie begins in present day.
Who wrote it? And who directed it? And who is it starring?
How should I know? I'm not the researcher.
It's starring Neil Patrick Harris and June Diane Raphael.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
Steve Zahn.
Steve Zahn.
He's like the A-lister in the cast.
Wow.
What?
Is he an A-lister?
No.
Harsh
Neil Patrick
diss
Harris
on
is
Neil
the A-lister
Patrick
in the
Harris.
cast.
Neil Patrick Harris is above Steve Zahn in the hierarchy of Hollywood?
100%.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Steve Zahn was in Shattered Glass. Okay?
It also stars Winslow Fegley as young Neil Patrick Harris.
Mm-hmm.
And Sophia Reed Gantzert as somebody named Annie.
And David Cross as the creepy toy dealer.
Yeah, that was
David
weird.
Cross.
So if you like A Christmas Story, imagine if A Christmas Story was a little bit less funny, and instead of being about getting a BB gun or a Red Ryder, what did he want?
Red Ryder bolt action BB gun.
Yeah, so instead of... I've actually never seen A Christmas Story.
Not good.
But instead of that, he wants a Nintendo.
Yeah, this movie is trying so hard to be a Christmas story. It's heavily narrated by Neil Patrick Harris.
I have to... Can I say that I like the fact that it's trying to just be a Christmas story? Because I don't like that movie very much, but, like, this is a better version of that.
I don't think so.
I mean, I don't like the original, so it's easy for me to say that. But...
Yeah.
It's very heavy on 80s nostalgia.
Yeah, very, very heavy on 80s nostalgia. It
Matt
was directed by
and I
Michael
immediately-
Dowse.
Oh.
And written by Kevin Jakubowski.
Is based on his book or based on a book
Based on his book.
Screenplay by.
Oh. And Matt and I immediately got into an argument because he was calling him a millennial, but the movie takes place in 1988, and he's 11, so he's older than me, and would be a Gen Xer.
Great.
Yeah. That's right. You guys watched this movie together.
That's right.
Yeah,
And
and
John
Jim.
decided to introduce that fact by pointing out a time that he was right and I was wrong. With no argument from me, and I was like, oh yeah, you're right, but still. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, to Vanessa's point, it's not only heavily narrated. There's like a framing narrative of
It's got a Princess
Neil
Bride
Patrick Harris is like explaining to his daughter
Neil
who wants a new phone for Christmas.
Yeah.
She wants
He's
a
explaining
phone,
to her.
period. And she's like
Yeah.
10 or 11. It's kind of weird that she doesn't have a cell phone at all at this point.
I agree.
I think it's worth noting that Neil Patrick Harris is like telling his daughter Neil Patrick Harris is telling his daughter the story of how he got his first Nintendo. Mm-hmm. And it's very much supposed to be an exaggerated, narrative from the dad. Little details change to please her, and he's making it's very clearly he's making up most of it.
He is established as an unreliable narrator.
Yeah. But that's fun. I like it. Mm-hmm. I thought it made for a fun little... Anyway, but we should set it up, right? So Neil Patrick Harris and his daughter are going to Neil Patrick Harris's mother's house for...
Yeah, his childhood home. And she's like, there's nothing to do here. And he's
There's
like,
no mom
yes,
around.
there
It's
is.
kind of implied that it's like a divorce situation, right?
Yeah, he says something about like, I know.
No, they're not divorced, are they?
That's the impression I got, is that he was
No,
separated
at the
from his wife.
the mom
end,
is
he's
there.
talking to his wife.
Yeah, she shows up.
Yeah, because he
the
ends up getting
dad.
married to the girl who has the matching.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Annie, what's her face?
That's right.
Oh,
So I
weird.
guess she's
Okay.
just not there for some reason. She's doing
Okay.
something else.
She's
They're
cheating on her
heckin'
husband, is the
bored.
point.
Yep,
She's
the
definitely
grandparents
cheating.
are not there.
Anyway, and they get there early. Nobody's home, so he takes her into the den and pulls out his old Nintendo and says, "We can do this." And and then he tells her the story over the course of playing through some of his games. Though really, you don't see a lot of that, right? Like we see a little bit of Rampage.
Yeah.
I thought they would at least frame it around the games because it shows a box full of cartridges and it's got like Joust and Rampage. What are the games that it has? John.
They mentioned Joust.
Yeah,
We saw the box, and John was freaking out about how it was all Warner Brothers games.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
all games that Warner Brothers owns the rights to. So it was like Rampage and Narc and Paperboy.
Oh, Paperboy
There was
for
like
sure.
some
Joust.
off-road game.
Yeah, the super off-road one.
Yeah.
It could have been really cool if, like, as he's telling the story, he's obviously just pulling from whatever game they're playing. So you start with Paperboy, and it's, like, believable. Like, okay, he had a paper route or whatever. And then it turns into, like, a story about, like, rampaging. It doesn't have to be monsters, but, like, adults or something like that, you know? Mm-hmm. That could have been cute.
Bullies. Rampaging bullies, because there's
Yeah.
a bully character in this movie that John, I don't know, had a crush on.
No.
It confused me.
I was fascinated by this bully kid. He doesn't look like a person. Like, how is that
Yeah,
his
I
face?
mean, well, for one thing, he's a full-on adult, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
He looks
These
like
kids
a
are-
bully I had in high school.
I don't know how old these kids were supposed to be, but they look like they're like 6th graders at most.
Yeah,
And
that's
the
what
they
I
main
would say.
are.
character
Fifth or
kid
sixth.
looks like he's like 6 years old. He
Yeah.
looks really young.
And they go to school with this full-grown adult who is their
Yeah,
bully.
this full-ass grown adult with a 5 o'clock shadow.
So my favorite part of this movie probably happened 12 minutes into the movie when the daughter was like, "Are you done telling this stupid story yet?" And he's like, "Nope." Real audience surrogate moment there.
He's using the Nintendo as a story for like how he had to work hard to get the Nintendo because his parents wouldn't let him have it.
Hey, let's
which-
not give away the...
Well,
it's
that's
about-
that's what he sets. That's him setting up the story, though. He
That's
says, "My
true.
parents wouldn't let me have a Nintendo. I had to work really hard to get one. I'm going to tell you about it, and it's supposed to mirror the fact that she wants a phone and blah blah blah."
Yeah, he's trying to
And
help
he's
her
like,
discover
"No
the true meaning of
handouts."
Christmas.
So he's a little boy. His parents are Steve Zahn and June Diane Raphael. June looks like way too glamorous to be a member of this family.
Oh, it's crazy. She is just so. I don't want to get. I don't want to get too weird on this show, guys, but
we get weird. It's fine.
She is so hot.
Well, not only that, but she also, like, the way they've styled her, she's wearing, like, really nice blouses and skirts, and then Steve Zahn is just, like, kind of schlebbing around in sawdust-covered sweatshirts and things, and the kids look like normal kids. I'm like, why is she here? This does not... There's something incongruous about it.
Yeah, interesting casting.
And I mean, she does a fine job, but I really think it's how they styled her. They didn't try to tamp down her looks at all, which I think made it seem like she was in the wrong family.
Are you saying like they should have? Remember, have you seen Being John Malkovich? How they made Cameron Diaz look all
exactly.
frizzy?
Yeah.
From her up, like put her in a sweater or something, you know?
Yeah, sweater,
doesn't have to be
frizz
a
up
lot.
the hair.
But it's Christmas, and she's all dolled up for Christmas. Like every night, they're doing family stuff, and right.
They really could have used her character as like a showcase for like 80s fashion, and they didn't.
Yeah,
like
that's
she
true.
gets some leg warmers for Christmas at the end of the movie, but that's kind of
And she's got that. I liked her bright red Christmas dress. I thought that was pretty.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Everything she wears is great. I would wear it, but Matt, would you wear it? Is that what you were going to say? That you would wear those blouses?
No.
Those beautiful Christmas blouses.
Oh, by the way, this is the Doyle family.
Yeah,
Yes.
Doyle rules. I
Jake
thought
Doyle
Diane
is
Raphael
our-
was fantastic in this movie. I liked her a lot. Like not just because she's gorgeous, but she does a good mom role. You know,
Yeah, no, she
until
did a good job.
something at the end that we'll talk about when it happens.
Yeah. So Steve Zahn, the dad, doesn't want his son to get a video game because, and I quote, "video games make you fat." Thank you.
Wow.
Movie.
You know, I had when I was that age, I had a friend named Steve Madison, and we used to hang out and play video games together until his mom said that hanging out with me and playing video games would make him fat.
Wow.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, I guess it's period accurate, but really not necessary.
I thought it was. I mean, I think he makes several excuses for why he won't get him the video game throughout the movie, or the NES throughout the movie, and I think they're always like pulled straight from, you know, the.
Well, this movie kind
headlines
of runs
of the
the
1970s.
gamut of
Video games make
like
kids
why
fat.
video games were bad. They
Yeah.
make kids fat. They keep kids inside all day. They make
Makes
them
them violent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they never actually like bring up the satanic panic, which is what they're referencing, which I thought was strange
Wasn't that
because
in the
Satan
80s?
is in this movie.
Yeah.
thought
Well, no,
Satanic
I'd say
Panic was in the 80s.
it's Black Phillip is in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
Black
and we'll
Phillip.
get to that, but
Yeah.
But Black
like-
Phillip is in every movie.
yeah, that's true. Because he rules Hollywood. So he knows about the Nintendo because he has this pseudo friend who's like a rich boy.
Oh
He's the
yeah.
only one in town who has the Nintendo.
In '88,
The richest
you
kid in
think
town.
more people would have a Nintendo.
I know.
Oh wait, is this supposed to be set in '88? John, you confused me by telling me that they were all born in the '70s.
Yeah,
I'm-
it's,
This kid,
That's how
he's
math
the
works.
he's the only kid, and they live in the suburb, the
Yeah.
Chicago suburb of Batavia.
yeah, I guess
right?
so.
I
They
guess it could-
they suggest that they're poor, but they're clearly not. They have a huge house.
Well, but I think actually, like when I was a kid, people could be poor and have a house because
Oh, I
it
guess
wasn't
that's
the
true. I
nightmare
forgot.
time that is
It wasn't
now.
the nightmare
But like
economy.
this whole poor thing just gets flushed down the drain when we get to the Christmas scene at the end.
That's true. So he goes every day. All the kids in town go to this rich kid's house and they stand outside chanting Nintendo. And he chooses 10 of them to go inside and watch him play Nintendo, essentially.
Yeah.
That
And
was
play
the best
against
part
him.
of the movie, and they kind of dump this plot line about a third of the way through.
I know, yeah. This was the funniest part to me of the whole movie.
Yeah, because it's about kids playing games.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like they're like offering him things to be chosen. Like the main character Jake has like a sausage roll.
Summer sausage.
Yeah.
Gourmet summer sausage that he's trying to.
Another kid has a goldfish. There's an adult who comes who just has cash
there's
money.
The coach
Yeah.
of their school.
And then, so that's sort of one of our antagonists. And the other one is the aforementioned full-grown adult bully. My favorite thing about this bully is one kid says, he smells like my dad does after he plays guitar in the garage.
That's a good one. I missed that.
Not only is this a full-grown adult, he's also a stoner. And he is not just someone who hangs around school. He's in class with them. Like, he's going to the 5th grade.
Yep.
And Bully's thing is that he stands on a big
bully.
mound of snow and they play King of the
Oh,
Castle.
We gotta talk
John,
about that
we got to talk about this.
because
John had one of these.
yeah. Not only did I have a bully who looked exactly like that kid, he had failed 2 grades. His name is Jeff Turner. He
Maybe
also,
don't name him on the show.
well, this is the Patreon one. It's fine.
All right.
I'll bleep it out.
They paid their money. We could dox whoever we
They
want.
paid good money to hear names dropped.
Yeah, that's true.
The unfiltered tell-all square roots.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, but at my elementary school, there, we had the schoolyard, and they would snowplow it and plow the snow into the corner, just like they did in this movie, and it was called the Rumble Hill. And
Rumble Hill.
it was all about like kids breaking their teeth, getting knocked off. It got pretty high.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
This movie was made just for Johnny. And Johnny loved it.
yeah. The only
Yeah.
thing. The only difference was that Jeff Turner should have been, or the fake Jeff Turner should have been wearing a Metallica t-shirt.
And apparently should have been shoved into a pile of computers instead of whatever comeuppance he gets in this movie that I don't really recall.
I don't think
Because
he
we
really
did
gets
finish
a
this
come
up
up.
at
No,
1
he
a.m.
gets his comeuppance.
Yeah, he does.
He gets
He does.
defeated by like 6 words in a bus.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
power of words defeats him.
All right. Well, we'll get to that because I got to be honest. The end of this movie is fuzzy.
Yeah.
John and I decided
So-
to turn this on at like midnight last night.
Yeah, I know. I had just watched it, and then you're like, oh, we're going to watch it now over Zoom. And I probably should have just come and watched it again with you guys because it sounds like fun, but I could not sit
We
through
did
this
have
movie
fun.
twice. Spoiler for my review of this movie. So then Rich Kid gets a power glove. Everyone's super excited about this. And this turns into our first death of the movie.
Hang on. This scene when he introduces the power glove is pretty fucking great. It is long and drawn out, and he's like holding it up like he's
he
the
has
champion.
his sister come out and like turn on a tape deck playing like the final countdown or something. And he's
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
like, power glove.
And it's funny because that is how they treated it in the movie The Wizard, which is they must be referencing here. And then what happens, and it's very true to life and funny. Johnny and I
Yep.
thought it was hilarious. Right, Johnny?
Yes.
Tell us
Yes.
all about it.
Well, the power glove sucks. I remember my friend got one. There's actually 2 games that are only 2 games that are compatible with the 3D functions of the power glove, where it could like go in and out of space and be tracked. Otherwise, you just kind of played games on the gamepad that was on your wrist, which didn't
Yeah.
really work, or you could map game functions to your fingers, which didn't work very well. So it sucked. Like the power glove was a piece of garbage, and I love that he hypes it up so much, and then just.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they didn't play a real game. Like, I guess they aren't going to play Bad Street Brawler because there wasn't a one-on-one Street Fighter style fighting game. Like Street Fighter 1 had just come out. I
Oh
think.
yeah, they play a fake Nintendo game here.
Yeah.
What a stupid thing to do in this movie! Like, why would you?
I mean,
You're
couldn't they
Warner
play
Brothers. Pay for the
ER
fucking
Kung
licensing
Fu
rights.
or something?
Jeez.
Nope, they're just like, oh, we don't have one, so they make up a game. He plays with his power glove against a little girl, and she beats him, and he flies into such a rage that he starts like karate chopping the air and kicking and punching.
And the kids are all making fun of him.
Yeah, they're all chanting like judo, judo, judo.
Taekwondo.
No, that's right.
Taekwondo.
And he taekwondos his foot right into the television, which does fall over and crush to death a living dog.
Well, the dog's not dead, we find out.
Yeah,
but
we believe
also,
the dog is dead.
This shot of this kid airborne kicking the TV was hilarious. It was funny.
Yeah.
It was pretty great.
And I like the daughter's reaction to the dog dying. I think the dog did die, and then he like retconned it later.
Okay, that would be interesting. It would be funny if, as this scene was happening where they were playing this fake game, it cuts to his daughter and she's like, "Dad, that's not a real video game."
But why would she know that? She's a child.
Yeah.
That's true.
We would be complaining if she said that.
I would say she maybe Googled it on her phone, but she doesn't have a phone yet.
I definitely felt his rage, though, because that Power Glove was a piece of crap, and he is like, he's playing it like, every kid thought you would play it, and he gets that first, like, oh, this thing's a piece of crap. And he is screaming like, it's the Power Glove.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a lunatic and killed his dog, but
Yeah.
I did like the montage of him being horrible, like to his grandmother slapping the Connect 4 off of her hospital bed. And
That's right. It makes you really hate this kid so that when they kill his dog, you won't feel too bad.
Yeah. But that means that there's no more Nintendo in town anywhere for them to play, and so it really heightens up the tension that they have to get this Nintendo. Meanwhile, Jake gets some purple boots. So that happens.
Yeah, his mom is. It's explained that she's very thrifty, and she found him some boots on sale. But they're girl boots.
Yeah, he has some Spirit boots. They're purple with flowers, and this movie tries to have it both ways. So he's like, "Girl boots, I can't wear that," and then it cuts to his daughter in present day being like, "What are girl boots? There's no difference between boy boots and girl boots." And he's like, "Oh, they were purple and had flowers." And she's like, "So what?" And he explains that
Jim's
back in
like,
the 80s,
yeah, that's what my daughter would have said.
Yeah.
But they still have gendered clothing.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, my kids definitely know the difference between the fucking men's section, the girls section, and the boys section.
Well, this girl is more woke than your kids.
Wow. It's kids go. Has this kid never been shopping before? Have they never been to a store?
She's wearing like a pink sweater. Come on, kid.
Sorry, I didn't realize she was wearing an anti-capitalist white shirt, a white homemade T-shirt with an anti-capitalist message written on it.
Mm-hmm.
Says ACAD.
So
r/anti-work.
Yeah. These boots don't have very much of a point, except that the kid then has to hide behind a dumpster at recess, and there he meets the best character in the movie, Connor Stump, who is a rebel who gives no fucks.
It's true.
And he's just living his life however he wants to.
I knew a kid kind of like this kid, actually. I was friends with him in the end of middle school. He was a great kid, too. And he was like a scrawny, pale, Coke bottle glasses, big greasy fucking mop of hair, like just looked like a cartoon of a nerd and was like the coolest kid on the planet, though.
Yeah.
He's a good kid.
Well, Connor Stump is definitely going to like grow up to be Timothy Chalamet or something, so he is well on his way.
Yeah, I agree.
Connor Stump is the future, and everyone else in this movie is stuck in the past, and that's what I have to say about Connor Stump. So they're hiding behind the dumpsters so the bully won't see the purple boots. The bully sees the purple boots and is going to then, I guess, hate crime this boy because he doesn't conform to gender norms. But then comes this other little kid who's a notorious liar, but he has a flyer saying that you can win a Nintendo if you sell the most Christmas wreaths for Boy Scouts, essentially. They call it something else.
Yeah, there's some kind of troop, boy troop. This, like, kid character that makes stuff up This is a character that's been in a couple different kids movies. Like this exact character is in the. Have you guys seen the movie Bushwhacked? I've had a lot of time during COVID to watch movies, and I watched the movie Bushwhacked, which was like a '90s family comedy starring Daniel Stern, and it has this exact character in it. This little chubby kid that makes stuff up, and nobody likes him.
Aww. but he's like by the end of the movie, he's kind of part of the gang too. I liked it. It's fun.
Yeah, they describe
I do
him
like
as like
his
not...
like flex at the end.
Yeah, they're like, he's not our friend, but he's still always hanging out with us.
Yeah.
So everyone gets wreath selling fever. Little Jake runs home. He wants to start selling wreaths right away, but Steve Zahn is upset because his gourmet sausage has gone missing. As we, the audience, know, Jake took it to trade for some Nintendo time. And so Steve Zahn then starts talking about how much dog shit there is in the yard and goes on and on about it and tells the kid he has to go shovel the dog shit. Kid goes outside. We see the yard covered in dog shit, which is upsetting enough. It's an insane amount of dog shit. And then cut to the dog, and we see the dog shitting shit out of its literal ass.
Yeah, you do see the dog shitting.
So
the dog pooping made me laugh. Dogs pooping make me laugh. I don't see the problem.
So there's two things here. First, as someone who grew up with a couple of dogs and had a frozen over yard like this, it's so true that if you don't pick up that dog poo, and then when everything melts in the spring, you will be you will face a literal nightmare. But that lawn looked just like our backyard, 100%.
I hate it.
Sorry, but also Matt, tell Vanessa what you said last night about honking.
It's an old trick my brother taught me when we were younger. If you ever see a dog pooping on the side of the road, you honk your horn at it. Because it will look up at you with the weirdest look on its face you've ever seen. And it's hilarious. It's just hilarious. They're just like, what? It's amazing.
So Vanessa doesn't want to see dogs poop is what I'm learning today.
I don't want to see it. There was a way too... I don't want any poop in a movie.
You don't get to...
I don't need to see cat shit in a movie. I see it in real life. So...
I mean, I don't need to see shit in any movie at any time, to be honest with you. I mean, I am with you 100% there.
Mm-hmm. Kid is trying to sell some wreaths. He's very bad at it. He can't even sell one to his own mother because the little liar kid hits his house first and sells her a wreath. Then his smart little sister, who next to whatever I called him, Connor Stroop, is the best character in this movie. She comes and she's like, I can tell you how to sell wreaths, but you have to get me a Cabbage Patch doll.
I kind of forgot.
That's what she wants for Christmas.
Yes, I kind of forgot about her until just now, and you're right. She is a little delightful
She's a delightful little baby child.
Mm-hmm.
She wants a red-headed Cabbage Patch doll with freckles.
Mm-hmm.
So he agrees to this deal, and she gives him the hot Glengarry lead that he needs to go to the nursing home because old people love to buy wreaths.
Love to buy stuff from kids.
Mm-hmm. He does Weekend at Bernie's a dead man and make him sign his
He does.
Order
He
form.
commits fraud.
Yeah.
What a great story to tell your kids.
Yeah. he takes his dead hand and
he
signs
turns to the camera and says, it's what he would have wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's doing pretty well. Then comes the time for the family trip into the city to go to the shopping mall. Steve Zahn is really upset about this because he has road rage, which it was uncomfortable to watch. I did not enjoy that. And
I think I like his character in this movie. I'm a Steve Zahn head.
I know
like
you
Steve
are.
Zahn.
You love him.
I do.
I was offended that he said that video games would make me fat.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. So fuck you, Steve Zahn. You're on my list.
Yeah, fuck Steve Zahn.
Fuck you, Steve Zahn's character.
Yes, you're right.
Steve Zahn is fine.
I need to work on my
Vanessa was like, I
distinction
hope
between
you die, Steve Zahn's character.
Vanessa,
She was
getting
about
ready
to-
to send. She's sending him threatening.
Dear Steve Zahn.
She is about to dox him, I think. We might want to get the censor button ready.
I mean, dox him how? Just to be like, he is Steve Zahn. IMDb
Put
could
his
tell
phone
you
number
that.
out there.
No, I would never share Steve Zahn's phone number with anyone, even Jim, and he begs me all the time.
I wish.
So
I offered
They
to
go
give
to
it
the
to
mall.
you, but he only wants it from Vanessa.
yeah. He goes to the mall. The parents leave the kids in the toy store. Little girl is sad because the Cabbage Patch dolls are all sold out. And Jake sees a big display for a Nintendo, and that's when Satan enters the movie. I don't know how else to describe what happens. Jim, what happens?
What happens?
Wait, which part are we at?
Black
I don't know
Phillip.
what you're talking about.
The part with the literal devil.
The janitor?
The Nintendo talking like Black Phillip.
right.
Yeah.
Being like, dost thou want to play the
yeah.
Yeah, the Nintendo starts talking with its Nintendo flap. It's like a big giant display. And it's
That's
like,
delightful.
Jake, play Nintendo. Forget your sister. Forget everything.
But only Warner
Reminded
Brothers
me
games.
of the talking toilet from Look Who's Talking.
He's like, what do you want to play? Super Mario Brothers 3. I don't have that game.
That was He's like, how about Rem?
Yeah, and it's like, okay. So the Nintendo makes a deal with Jake that if Jake neglects his sister, and I assume lets her be lost or abducted in the mall forever, then Nintendo will give Jake superstar Nintendo powers. Like, he is crushing Rampage. He's playing the best game of his life. Everyone's gathered around and cheering. And his little sister does wander away and finds a man dressed as Santa Claus to talk to. Happily, at the very last minute, the parents show up and pull Jake away from the Nintendo and do him a scold and find the sister. And everything's okay, except that Jake was so excited playing the Nintendo that his retainer flew out of his mouth and is now on the floor.
Oh my god.
So they're like at the curb,
This is a
ready
nightmare.
to pack up the car, and Steve Zahn's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you almost lost your sister. That would be just as bad as losing your retainer. And then he looks at the kid and he's like, open your mouth. And Jake does not. He instead runs. Like, he runs into the mall.
Yeah.
We see that his retainer like being kicked around the floor. Steve Zahn starts chasing after Jake, pressing X to Jake. He's like, Jake, as he runs through the mall. And this is the part of the movie where Steve Zahn does murder a man.
Oh yeah, he sure does.
How does he kill a guy?
Matt and I both noticed this. We're like,
Yeah.
yeah, that guy's dead.
He's on the escalator, like 3 stories up or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
They have this big open mall, and there's a man dressed as an elf who is part of the carolers, who sort of gets in Steve Zahn's way. And so Steve Zahn punches him in the face and then yeets him over the edge of the escalator. And we hear a scream and a thud of the dead body hitting the floor.
The thing that confused me most about this is because obviously this kid lost his retainer,
Right.
and he's running to scramble to find it before his dad can see that it's not in his mouth. And when the dad finally catches him, spoiler alert, the kid finds this disgusting retainer on the floor, pops it in his mouth, shows his dad. If you're Steve Zahn, what are you thinking at that point? I just chased my kid through this mall, murdered a man. Why? But why? If the
Yeah.
retainer was in your mouth the whole time.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, okay. And there doesn't seem to be any consequence for him just like making a run for it.
Yeah. The scene.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about how Steve Zahn murdered a man, and he definitely did. But again, we do need to remember that this is supposed to be a story that he's telling his daughter. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, my dad punched a man so hard he flew over the side of an escalator.
Yeah.
He was fine. Everything was fine. It was fine, and we got home fine.
I mean, Steve Zahn, the actor's literally killed like 5 people.
Yeah, that's true.
Allegedly.
Including...
This is the Patreon. We don't have to couch our...
We can say whatever we want. No legal repercussions.
Exactly.
including Jim's twin brother.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Jim used to be a triplet. Not anymore.
Yeah.
So...
One down, one to go.
Whoa. Don't let her anywhere near Steve Zahn.
Well, and then you get her power, right, Jim?
That's right. Yeah,
That's
it's
how it
like
works.
Jet Li's the one.
So, since they didn't get the Cabbage Patch doll, Steve Zahn and Jake go to meet a shady man underneath a bridge. And
David Cross.
yeah, here we get sort of the first true insight into what Steve Zahn has going on, because he's like, hey, don't you think my power tools are cool? Wouldn't it be cool to play with my power tools instead of a Nintendo? And I could show you how to use them. And the kid's like, no, Nintendo. And Steve Zahn's like,
well, yeah, because he's a fucking kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, well, when I was a kid, we built a treehouse and it was rad. And the kid's like, oh, really? Was it actually rad? He's like, that does sound rad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, was there a trap door? And he's like, yeah. And we didn't need
Rope
a
ladders
Nintendo
and-
to be happy.
It's worth noting that the reason Steve Zahn brings the kid along is because Steve Zahn cannot recognize a Cabbage Patch doll, apparently.
Yeah.
He needs,
the kid
he needs
is
his son
needed
there
to.
for... Yeah.
Yeah, to authenticate the doll, I guess. So the man comes. He has a trunk full of Cabbage Patch dolls that he's selling at an upcharge. They don't find one with red hair and freckles, but they get a blonde one with freckles. And there's also a Nintendo in the trunk, and the kid's like, ask him about the Nintendo! And Steve Zahn's like, no, fuck you. And they leave. So... Kid keeps selling his wreaths, and then come time for the big announcement of who has won the contest. And
I thought this whole scene was really funny. This whole scene with the like prize reveal. Also the beginning of it when they're doing their like opening ceremony for this meeting, and it's dark and they're all like holding these candles, and
yeah,
it's kind of
they're
silent,
doing
and
like
then
a mass.
Yeah, then like kids start farting,
Yeah.
which was funny. And then I like that. So this bully kid who's not in the troupe is also in attendance because he wants to find out if he sold the most wreaths. I love that he's standing in the back, like yelling, like "Get to the prizes!"
Yeah.
And one of the like scout leader guys was like, "Is he? Why is he like? Who is this kid?"
Yeah.
Who is this
Also
adult
in
man?
attendance is their little girlfriend, who's has a twin brother in the troupe, because they have been working in tandem to sell things. So they wheel out 3 prizes. Third prize, I don't remember what it was.
It was a subscription to Boys Life
That's
magazine.
right. Second prize was...
A globe of the entire world.
That's
the entire
right.
world.
All of it. I
And-
love that when the kid gets the globe as the prize, he picks it up, turns around, and immediately dumps it in a garbage bin.
And it had a plug on it, too. It was a light-up globe.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love globes.
Yeah.
too.
But it had the USSR on it, and that would have been amazing. And then finally, it's time for the big first prize reveal. Jake has won through all of his hard work and effort, and they yank the blanket off the table to reveal first prize, which is drumroll.
Nintendo.
Nope,
Nope.
Johnny. No, it's a set of encyclopedias. Flashback to the night before, when the parents of the boy who killed his dog have a little conference and tell everyone in town that Nintendo makes children violent and terrible, and Nintendo should be banned from the whole county.
Yeah, they get all video games banned in the entire county.
Yep.
Wow.
Although not like through an ordinance. I think they just convince stores not to sell it.
Yeah, he mentioned that he's talked to like every shop owner, and they have all collectively agreed to not sell video games.
Mm-hmm. So Jake is distraught. All of the town's children are distraught. Their Nintendo dreams have not come true. They go to the twins' birthday party at the roller rink. The twins are distraught because their birthday is very close to Christmas, so they always get like joint birthday/Christmas presents and also joint twin presents. Did that happen to you, Jim? Did you get joint?
Yeah. I had joint birthday parties all the way up until I was like a teenager, probably.
Oh, sad. But now don't you kind of miss them? Like, wouldn't you like to be with Kaylee for your birthday?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
So that he can finally finish her off.
Yeah. So he can be like, look, I got a present just for me.
And he cuts her head, he yeets her head off, and
Yep.
the Highlander energy flows into it.
Yep. Quickening.
Yep. So the twins have gotten some baseball cards. They're opening up the packs, and they find one that is a valuable air card because it shows a swear word on the player's bat. I don't know if this is a real baseball card or something they made up.
Yeah, I think it is. That's like the twin girl's whole shtick. Is she's like a baseball card fanatic.
Mm-hmm. So she figures out that they can sell that baseball card for $90, something like that.
$95. I wonder how much it's worth today.
Which in like 1988 money is approximately $10,200.
How much was a Nintendo? $200?
I don't
I don't know. I think they say like $300, don't they?
Let's
$250.
look it up. It's time on the show when we look something up. Everyone's favorite.
It's time on the show that we've been doing this for almost 2
Square
hours.
Roots
Release
Googles.
price.
Like, I gotta go get ready for this hockey game.
Look, take a deep breath. The basic set released in 1987 retailed at $89.99 with no game, and $99.99 with the Super Mario Brothers cartridge.
Wow.
And $149.99 for the action set,
Oh,
which came with the
sweet.
control deck, 2 controllers, the zapper, and a dual game pack containing both Super Mario Brothers games.
Yeah, so I assume that what they're trying to get is the super set or the
That's what
action
I thought
set.
too, because I think they mentioned $150 or
Yeah.
something, right?
Yep, all the kids pool their money together to have enough for the Nintendo. The bully does steal the money. He finds out about it. Oh, they also have a whole scheme to buy the Nintendo by like sabotaging the school field trip so that the bus has to stop next to the Nintendo store.
I actually
yeah.
liked this whole plot.
And they can run in and get it. So the bully takes the money. They're like, oh no, what are we going to do? Jake decides that he's going to stand up to the bully. This is the comeuppance scene. He gets onto the bus with his purple boots on. And this is when we see his future wife. And she looks at his boots and she's like, nice boots. I have the same boots. And
Yeah, just like that.
he goes up to the bully. He puts his boot right in the bully's chest, pins him against the bus seat, and he's like, give me back the money, you suck. And the bully is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And
Did we explain their whole plan though? Because
No.
it's very involved, and the scene where they're explaining it has a really funny line where Jake says, "This is our Vietnam," and one of the other kids was like, "I don't think that means what you think it means." But the plan is to, on this field trip to downtown Chicago, to basically Jake is going to sneak off of the bus with the money, go into the mall, buy a Nintendo, come back. They're going to stall the bus. One of their friends, this like little nerdlinger kid, it's explained earlier in the movie that he projectile vomits every time he eats SpaghettiOs. So the plan is to get this kid sick on SpaghettiOs so that the bus stops while he's sick, and then this is his opportunity to sneak and go get the Nintendo.
Yeah, and they've timed it out that with 2 cans of SpaghettiOs, the kid can produce 9 minutes of vomit. So he has 9 minutes to get off the bus.
Kid throwing up is disgusting.
It's like
and
an
I think-
exorcism level vomit.
And what's really gross about it is they put this kid in a white turtleneck. So not only is he throwing up SpaghettiOs, like Vanessa said, like Exorcist style, it's getting all over the front of his his turtleneck, and it looks fucking gross.
Yeah, and he throws up on the chaperone as well, so she's covered in SpaghettiO.
Yeah.
So Jake sneaks off the bus. He is sneaking into the mall, but the twins' mother is there with, I think, the rich kid's mother, and they are protesting Nintendo outside the toy store.
Oh, yeah.
So they have to think on their feet. They have the little liar kid page the mothers over the mall intercom.
I love this part because they're like, we need to get him away from there. What do we do? And one of the kids is like, I don't know. We can just make something up. and this kid like sits up slowly, and he's like, "Did somebody say make something?"
So he tells them that he's calling from like Nephews of America or something like that, like a Big Brother organization, and keeps them on the phone while Jake goes and buys the Nintendo. He has it in hand. He's running to make it back to the bus, and in sort of a echo, as it will, a George Lucas style echo of what happens at the beginning of the film when Neil Patrick Harris slipped on a patch of ice. This kid slips on a patch of ice. The Nintendo bag goes flying out of his hands under the wheels of the bus, and the bus does roll it over.
No.
I love this because, like, one, all the kids are horrified. They're all screaming. And then it cuts to the broken Nintendo in the street, and all of a sudden it explodes.
Yeah.
Now, Jim, you said that you saw something happen in real life. Was it the breaking of the TV, or was it the breaking of the Nintendo that you saw in real life?
It was the breaking of a TV.
Oh, okay.
I saw a kid try to do a karate move one time, and he did like a spin kick and kicked his TV.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was one of those like big like rear projection
Oh, no.
TVs.
Those are so expensive.
I know.
Did you run from the house screaming like the kids do in this movie?
I definitely left because he was in trouble.
Yeah. So, there don't seem to be any repercussions for, like, wasting all the cash that these kids have put together, but that's neither here nor there. He has missed the bus. He's sitting on the side of the street, and who should come but David Cross, the creepy Cabbage Patch seller. Mm-hmm. And he tells him that the true meaning of Christmas isn't what you want to get, it's being grateful for what you have.
Is he like this movie's Santa Claus, kind of?
Essentially. He's like the magical character who delivers the moral of the story.
Yeah.
So then, cut to Christmas Day. The whole family is together. The kids run downstairs. Jake looks at the boxes and realizes there's no Nintendo there, based on the shape and size of the boxes. Little girl gets her blonde Cabbage Patch doll, and she's delighted with it. And Jake is like, I'm sorry we couldn't get you a redheaded one. And she's like, it's okay, I love you. And she goes in and gives him the strangest hug. She hugs him from the side, and we can see her side is against his front, and her face is pointed towards the camera, and she has no expression on her face. She looks like... I think that this little girl, she looks like a sociopath. I think she's just a genius, and she's like, I can't stand this stupid family. I can't wait to get out of here.
She's a real Dexter's Laboratory.
Yep. He gets some crap. I don't remember what it was.
He gets I don't remember.
Yeah. June.
It's crap.
June gets some leg warmers. Steve Zahn gets some new tools.
He gets a sander.
Mm-hmm. And then, and Neil Patrick Harris has sort of prefaced it by saying that a miracle was going to happen on this Christmas. So then a package arrives from Japan, from his weird rich uncle in Japan. Exactly the shape and size of a Nintendo. He opens it up, and it's a light bright.
It was at this point in the movie where I was like, where's the fucking Nintendo at?
Yeah.
Is this kid going to get a Nintendo or what?
They fake out a new Nintendo so many times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this is when Neil Patrick Harris, in the spirit of Steve Zahn, says, oh, what am I going to be, like a 30-year-old balding man living in my mom's basement with this light bright? And I was like, come on, movie. You can't make jokes like that anymore in this economy. Most 30-year-olds live at home. Get over it.
Yeah.
So, the Nintendo doesn't come. They're going to leave on a trip. Steve Zahn tells Jake that before they go, he has to go shovel the dog shit out of the yard one last time. So he shuffles out there with his shovel. And it's all dark, and he's like, turn the lights on. The lights go on, and there in the backyard is a beautiful, shiny, brand new...
Nintendo!
Treehouse.
No, it's a treehouse. Yep.
No.
This treehouse is deluxe.
Yeah.
It is. It is
and
like
he made it in a day?
penthouse treehouse.
Yeah,
how did he build this? Yeah.
It has a trap door in the bottom. It has a balcony. It has everything. So then it kind of... Steve Zahn comes out there and sits with him, and he's like, "Oh my God, Dad, I can't believe you did this for me. I love my tree house, and I love the fresh air, and you're the best dad ever." Yeah, the moral of this movie is Nintendo bad, outside good.
What the hell?
Fuck you, movie. I didn't need to be lectured.
Yeah. So he carves his initials in the treehouse because his dad tells him that that is what they're supposed to do. And then we cut back to present day, and Neil Patrick Harris and his daughter are in the treehouse, and his daughter is like, "Oh, wow, I love this treehouse. It's my favorite thing here." And Neil Patrick Harris is like, "Me too." And then the little girl says, "Well, how did you get your Nintendo?" And Neil Patrick Harris reveals, "I got a summer job, and I bought it."
Boo.
Boo.
And it would be great if he only enjoyed the treehouse until he got his Nintendo, and then he never went inside of it again.
I think she even says "Oh, so the Nintendo was in the treehouse," and he's like, "Nope, I worked as a golf caddy." And so yeah, this movie is not about getting a Nintendo. This movie is about how magical it is to not get a Nintendo.
It's not about getting a Nintendo. It's about how good it is to not have a Nintendo.
Yeah. So then they go back inside. The lovely June Diane Raphael is there in her old age makeup.
Oh, old age makeup. They give her
this is
silver
bad
wig,
old age makeup.
and she is still a fox.
Yeah. She does have that sort of it looks like it looks when you put Elmer's glue on your hand. She has a thin veneer over her face of...
That's what I thought. They just put Play-Doh on her face.
Yeah. So she looks wrinkly, but not in the way that a human face actually wrinkles.
Yeah.
She's just kind of generically wrinkly all over. And
and we discovered that Steve Zahn is dead.
You
Vanessa
say that.
killed him.
He's in prison for murdering that guy in the mall.
I believe he is in prison for murder. So they're looking around the room, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that after he gave me the treehouse, that's when Dad and I found our thing." And there's all kinds of stuff in the house with his initials carved on them that he made with his dad.
Yeah.
And then there's an empty place sitting at the table for Dad. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
I thought that was really silly.
Is that something that people actually do?
I thought the same thing. Do people leave out plates for their dead loved ones on the holidays?
I mean, maybe they do, and I shouldn't laugh at it, but it just seemed so over dramatic.
It was very saccharine.
Yeah, they're looking
you guys
at
are definitely canceled now.
Yeah,
there's no reason to have this character be dead. It does not contribute to the narrative at all.
They could only afford old age makeup for one actor.
Yeah, and they chose June.
Steve Zahn had 3 days on set, and that's it.
Yeah. So then that's the end of the story, and I guess the moral is, if this girl wants a cell phone, she's gonna have to get a job. The end.
The end.
Well, they discovered the magic. The real miracle of that Christmas was when Jake finally discovered his thing with his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Woodworking.
Yep.
Matt and I were like, "There's going to be so many. There were so many drugs smoked and virginities lost in that treehouse."
Well, I mean, he's still with his high school girlfriend, presumably.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they hooked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is where you
Susie
were conceived.
McBoots. Yep.
This is the story how I made my daughter.
Mm-hmm. So that's 8-Bit Christmas. Matt.
Yes.
Did you like this movie?
I did like it. It's not great. It's got I think everybody said it, the beginning bits are fun, and particularly the first little run with the power glove and all that. And there's some fun stuff and some sweet stuff. A bit the wreath selling drags, the suddenly getting $95 and then having to some crackpot plan to get a Nintendo dragged. But I liked the end with the treehouse. It did give me some feels. I think it's a sweet movie. I think it would be. I kind of wish I would have watched it with the kids. Maybe next year I will. I don't think that they would have loved it.
Yeah, make this your annual movie tradition. It's only 90 minutes.
Yeah. What about you, Jimmy?
This movie is not great, but it's fun and it has enough jokes to keep you interested in watching it. And then I feel like it really blew the ending. Like big time. I didn't like the ending at all, but I thought the movie was fun. The kids are funny. There's a lot of funny jokes throughout the movie. So yeah, I mean, it's not the worst Christmas movie I've ever seen. I watched a lot of Netflix Christmas movies during COVID, and they are all uniformly terrible.
Yeah.
What about you, John?
It was okay.
I mean, it was better because John got to watch it with me as I drunkenly reacted in real time to everything.
Yeah. So it was a good watching. I watched it with Matt and Jim, and that was a lot of fun.
Until Jim died.
Yeah, until
I
Jim
got a
died.
phone call and had to disconnect my Bluetooth, and then I didn't want to sign back on. You guys were way ahead of me.
Yeah, that's my opinion.
Myself, I did not like this movie. My punch-up suggestion is that at the end he gets both the treehouse and the Nintendo, and then he makes the decision to spend time with his dad doing woodwork instead of playing his Nintendo. I think that would have been a better character moment.
I think it would have been great if he spent time with his dad doing woodwork shit, and his dad took time away from his woodworking shit to play Nintendo with his son.
Yes, that would have been perfect.
Been so great.
Or maybe even because his dad, the whole time just wanted to, have a thing with his son. His dad could have gotten into games. And then at the end, we could have seen his dad alive being like, I got a PlayStation 5! Or there's the Switch and all that stuff at Grandma and Grandpa's house. And June could be wandering around in a VR headset. It would be perfect.
That is a good idea. That would be a great. And then you could rewrite Steve Zahn a bit so that instead of being a real jerk about how games make you fat and stupid, he could be maybe kind of interested in it, but we can't afford it though. I already bought your Christmas present. That's what I have to do to my kids, man. Haley fucking 2 days before Christmas was like, I want this $80 hoodie. Okay.
Vanessa's mom does that to me too every year. She never asks for anything for her birthday, and then the week before she's like, here's what I want for my birthday, as if I haven't already bought something. But Christmas comes shortly thereafter, so it's not a problem.
My mom also has a December birthday, and it's here's your combined birthday Christmas gift.
Jim, how dare you?
I make it a good gift.
So yeah, that's 8-Bit Christmas. Not for me. Too much dog poop. Not a fan.
Vanessa was offended by the poop coming out of the dog.
I was not happy. And also I am disappointed that there's no post-credit scene setting up 16-bit New Year's, but I assume that we'll get that next year.
Oh, there should be a franchise.
Yeah.
Another film which somehow barely addresses video games.
64-bit Hanukkah.
It's weird because I think this is Jesus Christ. Kwanzaa 360. So it's weird. It is weird. The movie almost feels marketed. The name doesn't really fit. It's not about the video games at all. And I have to admit, that kind of left me disappointed. The one time we see a game, it's a fucking fake game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this movie needed
and Rampage.
Yeah. This movie needed a punch up by an actual someone who actually likes video games.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's it felt like it was written by Steve Zahn's character, basically. People who have not played video games and didn't have any emotional connection to them.
I wonder if the book is any more or less kind towards video games.
Well, I bet it talks about games that aren't owned by
Warner Brothers.
I was going to say, I bet there's a lot of talk about Mario or Zelda or something,
and
how badly they all wanted it.
Yep. And in case anyone thinks we're being, unfair and saying that this game was marketed towards gamers, I have it on good authority that this movie was a tribute to all the gamers.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Because Warner Brothers told you.
Warner Brothers Movies tweeted it at me.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, mismarketed. Weird.
Yeah. Not really a game movie, but then again, most game movies are not good, so maybe it's a good thing that it wasn't a game movie.
Yeah, whatever. I could have used some Neil Patrick Harris jumping around Mario World,
That would have been cool.
Like we could have gotten a shot of him jousting or something. Mm-hmm. All right, well, is anybody, or do we have any opinions left, or can we wrap this puppy up? Because
I think we covered it.
Yeah, that's 8-Bit Christmas. We hope that you all had a very nice holiday and send you all of our best wishes for 2022. It's up to you. Please be kind to us in 2022. Mm-hmm. Please, when you're making the selection of games you want us to play, don't do it for the memes and
Dinner.
No.
We'll have one list that's all like Infinite Undiscovery and Beyond the Beyond. And just all the greatest RPGs.
All the greatest hits.
Mm-hmm.
all right, bye.
Love you.
Bye. Happy holidays.
Bye. Happy New Year.
Happy gaming, everyone. God game us, everyone.
Whoa. We're a public podcast. We can't be religious.
Yeah. We could do anything on the Patreon.
Yeah,
we can
exactly.
dox anyone, but we can't be religious. In
right,
that
bye,
case,
everyone.
calendar flip to you. Good night.